Hello. There we go. Hello, and welcome to Build a Ball Workshop, where we build a ball and get this, we have a ball doing it. Welcome. Thank you, anyone tuning in, anyone watching this on the YouTube archives, whatever. Just welcome. Welcome. How you doing? So in this episode, we're just gonna be mostly doing more drawing. That's pretty much it. I guess without further ado, you might as well just don't really need any preamble for it. We're just drawing today, so I guess we'll just kind of get right into it. Alright. I got the camera. I'm gonna be trying to move the camera around a little more, so that it's constantly kind of like a little more zoomed in and close. Since I don't have like I don't have like a zoom, a digital zoom ability or anything really, or at least I don't think there is in OBS or anything. Not easily anyway, not quickly. Like it's quicker to just like take the camera and just move it around physically, than go in and like stretch out So I'll be moving the camera around, try to like keep the action a little close, a little more often this time. Here we go. So I'm going to be coloring, like you can see here, I did like this kind of like electricity thing. So basically right here where this hole is, there's going to be a ball, like basically imagine a pinball on a rod, and that rod will go through that hole. So basically just be like, it looks like a pinball is just like floating on the playfield essentially right here. So it looks like all this lightning and stuff is kind of coming off of it. And that'll be the captive ball, kind of Newton ball area. And so whenever you hit that, I tried to like hide the inserts as good as I could. So whenever you hit the captive ball, they'll be right here. It'll the lights will go kind of like that, like as if like it's actually like the lightning's actually going off. So I'm really excited. I'm really stoked with how well that came out. Yeah. So anyways, enough about that. We're doing the kind of the like the power beam. I don't know what you would call it. It just looks like a kind of like power, just a power. I guess it'd be a beam of energy. Yeah, just like a beam of energy, just kind of coming off the insert. And I'm actually doing this thing where I'm trying to color coordinate everything in the game to make it a little easier to follow. And I'm using essentially CMYK minus the K, since K is black, and you can't really have a light that emanates black, at least not an LED, not modern LEDs, not RGB LEDs. So it's just CMY. So let me move the camera a little bit. Like these are the three main goals of the game: is to meet all the historical figures, get all the spinner modes, get the super jackpot and multi-ball, and then that plus that equals the final wizard mode. So it's CMY, so cyan, magenta, and yellow. So all the historical figure mode shots are going to be cyan colored. All the spinner mode shots will be magenta, and the super jackpot, whenever you light it in the multi-ball, will be yellow. And I'm also doing that. I'm using that in the artwork as well. So you can see, since historical figures are cyan, that's basically light blue. The cyan is essentially light blue. I highlighted the two main shots that have to do with starting historical figures modes. I highlighted them with cyan. So it's like, cause you hit the captive ball, it goes up there, lights the historical figure, and then you shoot the scoop, and that starts the historical figure mode. So since those are the two main shots in the game for doing historical figure mode stuff, I color coordinated them to that. And since the spinner mode is magenta, which is kind of a pinkish, it's kind of somewhere between pink and purple. This is basically like hot pink, like according to the label, but like it comes out as like a little bit more of a a magenta-ish pink when you paint it, when it's all said and done. So yeah, let's. So since this is the main shot to help light spinner modes, I'm making it magenta. So yeah. And then the super jackpot shot, the shot that you have to shoot eventually for the super jackpot, I'm using yellow as like the beam kind of color. So yeah, luckily even like yeah, Posca markers. I like this is my first time using them for this pinball machine playfield. But man, I really dig them. Like I'm using pink, and even pink is able to like overlay itself on top of the black with pretty much one coat. Like it gets like 90% there, I'd say, with like one coat, which is like really impressive for how thin of a coat this is and how quickly I'm like making the marks, how quickly I'm going over the canvas, so to speak. Make sure the whole dang thing is nice and covered. This little corner here looks like it's going to take a second coat, but that's okay. Let me move the camera a little bit more so I can so my hand isn't covering up quite as much. Let's try there. There we go. Alright. And, yeah, I guess just kind of let that... Actually, no, we don't need to let that dry. I can just kind of go ahead and start doing the, outlines of, like, the kind of the power surgy stuff. So let me get reprimered real quick. Yeah. There we go. Yeah, every once in a while you gotta kind of like... The cool thing about them is it's really easy to clean the tips on these things, so they don't really retain anything. So yeah, like see, like already, ba-boom, I'm going back after cleaning the tip a little bit there, and it's opaque as heck again. Oh yeah, let me put on some music a little bit, so I can just kind of just chill. There we go. I'm sorry for the squeaky chair. And then, like, I don't have to worry too much about making the outline of this pink, magenta, pink, whatever you want to call it. I don't have to worry too much about the outline because that's going to be trapped in by the white outline. So, yeah, here we go. Let me move the microphone a little bit. There we go. Okay, cool. I always gotta keep checking just in case. I'm always worried I've stuck my arm in some sort of wet line I've drawn or something. So I'm always checking my sleeve, like, oh, did I mess up? Did I mess up? And I've only done that a couple of times, and it was usually with like my hand. It hasn't been with like my sleeve or anything yet. Luckily, I haven't like stained any clothes yet. Not with paint, anyway. Waka waka. Alright. Got that chunk. Let's move the mic a little bit. Move the camera a little bit. Let's try about right there. Let's try like that. Let's see how that looks. Yeah, okay. Man, I need like an intern. That can just like kind of just stand around here and move the camera around a little bit and change angles when I need them to. Anyone in the Southern Indiana, Louisville, Kentucky kind of area, down for like an unpaid internship or anything? Like, you're not gonna get any college credit or anything like that, any kind of credit, except for maybe the credit of my admiration for your help. And I would gladly be a reference on your resume for when you go to get a job. So keep that one in your back pocket. You know, it's like a get out of jail free card, but for jobs right there. Just think about it, you know. Get back to me. Alright, almost done with this little bitty bit here. Yeah, camera right there. Okay. There. Like I said, it's not too important. I get it like perfectly up against the edges and stuff, because that white line will help cover up the little gap. Alright, cool. So let me zoom out the camera a little bit. And so yeah, you can see we got the beam colored in now, so now I'm just gonna let it dry. And then I'm gonna do the white outline. So let's see here. While that's drying, let's do this. I need to fill in the this insert here is supposed to look like it's kind of like rocketing off, like up through the middle of the playfield. So I need to fill in most of this here with white, and then I'm going to be layering with other colors and stuff, but I need to start off with white, essentially. So let's get in a little closer. Try that. There we go. You know, I think, yeah, I can go to a bigger tip size. Yeah. There we go. That's a little better. And this basement here, this is going to be the super jackpot shot. So I'm not sure how devious I want to get with the super jackpot shot. I already know the basics of how the multi-ball is going to work. It's going to be like pretty much all the main, like most of the main shots are going to be lit for regular jackpots. And then once you hit all those, it's going to light this basement shot for the super jackpot. The thing about that is I have the smart drop target here that I can like control like going up and down, basically like a little pop-a-mole or whatever, like a whack-a-mole. There we go. Not pop-a-mole, whack-a-mole. Like I have a little drop target that can like pop up here. Let me move the camera a little bit so you can see. I have like right here. I can have a little drop target that can pop up and down at will. So I can either have it so I'm thinking at bare minimum it's going to be when the super jackpot is lit, that comes up. You have to hit that and then shoot the shot again to get the super jackpot. So it has to go into the scoop behind the target. So I'm thinking maybe the first time you get to the super jackpot it'll do that, but eventually you'll get to a point in the super jackpot where it's just kind of like popping up and down. The drop target is, and you have to time that shot, which is like really difficult because you have to like feed that shot. It's not like a shot where you can like hold the ball and wait. So that would be like really deviously difficult, I feel. So that might have to be like a super duper jackpot or something like that, maybe. And then also, so yeah, like the basement shot will be the super jackpot shot, but the ramp shot will also be lit to lock balls in the time machine. And for every ball during the multi-ball you're able to lock in the time machine, it multiplies the value of the super jackpot. So like if you're able to keep all 3 balls in play up until the point of the super jackpot being lit, you can lock 2 of those 3 balls in the time machine, and then all of a sudden you have like 1 ball in play and you got like 30 seconds to shoot this upper shot for a triple super jackpot. Because the first ball to the time machine during multi-ball would double the super jackpot, and the second ball to the time machine would triple the super jackpot. Move the camera over a little bit more. Alright, that pink is just about dry. The magenta pink magenta, whatever you want to call it. Colors are colors. Who cares? It's just a dang red with some white in there. Who cares? It's all pink is, just red with some white. Who cares? So I think I don't need to fill in all of this. I just need to fill it in like right here. So yeah, because all of this will be a different color up here, but I needed to fill it in up to here because I'm gonna do like a gradient kind of stipple effect. The drink break here. Alright. So let's see here. Yeah. Cool. Looks like the pink is dry, which means I can go like that. Yeah, and then let's get the white out. And let's get in here. Yeah. Also, this is just going to be like the core of the line. I'm going to go back in and with like the finer tip white paint pen and kind of sharpen out some of the edges and that kind of thing. And also any spots that I don't, where I kind of alter the outline a little bit, I can just go back with the purple. So yeah, like that's like again, that's the great thing about this Posca stuff is it's really easy to tweak something after the fact. It makes working physical a lot easier, I feel. Just making sure I'm not going out of frame. Move it over a little more. Alright, cool. So yeah, now I just let that dry. And then I can go back in there and like I said with like the finer tip stuff and kind of make it real nice and sharp and clean. Excuse me. So yeah, while that's drying, let's go back to the kind of arrow, kind of flying insert down here. Let's see here. If I remember correctly, it was going to be red going into orange and then yellow and then white. So where's red? But actually, I need to do it backwards. I need to do parts of it backwards. Not entirely though, because I'm doing like a gradient texture thing. Like I'm kind of thinking out loud, and I probably sound like a lunatic right now, actually. But as that old song goes, that's just the way it is. Do 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 do. Okay, cool. Let me bring this down a little closer if I can. That's a little better. It's at like kind of a weird angle, but it's a little closer at least. So I'm excited. Tip off. So I'm excited that the new season of Westworld just started. I haven't seen the newest episode yet, but I'm almost kind of tempted to just wait for this season to finish, so I can just kind of watch it like a couple episodes at a time, like an episode or two a night. So I feel like that show is a little easier to digest when there isn't an entire week between each episode. Like there's a lot. I feel like season 2 in particular, there was some things I would forget here and there, and like luckily I was watching it with like my family. So each of us would kind of like remind each other of things that each of us had forgotten at one point or another. Alright. So I need to get in there with the purple. Kind of clean that up a little bit. I'm gonna clean up this whole little area here, I think. There we go. Yeah, that's a little better. Yeah. And then kind of rein in this side a little bit as well. Kind of balance it out a little bit. There. Yeah. That looks good. Looks good to me. Looks good to me. Looks good to you. Looks good to me. So I was gonna let that dry. And in the meantime, it looks like our big kind of magenta beam is ready to go for its next step. So let's see here. So let's find our fine point white paint pen and just kind of really get in here and let's see here. point it a little more this way. Like that. So let's start down here. That give all these kind of like more of a sharp point to give it more of a pulsing with power kind of feeling. Like some Dragon Ball Z stuff. Like this pinball machine insert is going Super Saiyan, baby. There we go. Looking good. We'll have to come back for that for another layer. Get my prime and stick out and clean off this tip. That's the thing with the fine point tips. It's a fine point, so it gets a little dirtier, a little quicker. So you gotta clean it off a little more often, it seems like. Almost. Still a little off-white. And there. Okay. There we go. Much better. It is better. Much better. probably going to the same thing because it flows like a movie. Oh, what was that? I forget what I was talking about when you commented that, so I forget what that's in relation to. I'm kind of brain farting what I said. I kind of went on a tangent there, so I kind of forget the words. Westworld, that's right. Okay, yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because like it's like it's so heavily like reliant on like remembering like like this. There's just this constant flow of information in that show, and like it's almost like I feel like it's like the same argument that people have for like, oh, we should get rid of summer vacations and just make school like just have like a 2 or 3 week break like every semester or something, because kids lose a lot of that information over summer break and they have to like relearn a lot of it in the next year. And so yeah, I feel like it's like the same thing that's kind of happening with Westworld. It's just like that week between each episode is like it's just more time to forget stuff. So yeah, I agree with you agreeing with me. But yeah. Okay, cool. And then most of this I'm going to keep like that. But this very little tip up here, I'm going to go in here with the fine point. We'll just go like there. So, let's see here. That's pretty much dry down here. So now I can come back over here and clean up the kind of that pink that's coming outside of the white lines there. A little bit. There we go. Kind of clean up some of these lines a little bit while I'm at it too. Right there. Big time right there. Right there. There we go. And then, let's see here. Go back on the inside of that white line with a little bit of the pink. A little bit of the pink. Kind of clean up the lines. Yeah. I realize I've started to do like a little bit of a Neil Hamburger impersonation whenever I'm talking to my dog. And it's only for one word. For only one word am I doing an impersonation of Neil Hamburger in this conversation. Like, I'll be talking to my dog. I'll be talking to my dog, and I'll be like, "Oh, you're a good boy. Who's a good boy? Who's a good boy?" And he like gets happy and stuff. And I pick him up and I start petting him, and I'm like, "You're a good boy. You're a good boy." And then I go, "Yeah, you're a good boy. Yeah." So that's a kind of a deep cut for any Neil Hamburger fans out there. There you go. Let's see. But I really that wasn't really a setup for a punchline. I really have been doing that like subconsciously. Just because I like the way that's I just love the way he says yeah. I just love the sound of it. Just yeah. What did despicable Gene Simmons? What did no good, rotten, low-down, two-flushing dirt bag Gene Simmons? That's not my opinions of Gene Simmons. That's just my impersonation of Neil Hamburger. Just putting that out there. Please don't sue me for defamation or something. There we go. Alright, cool. So I think I might go over some of this with like the slightly bolder line one more time. Just to give it some oomph. Yeah. Let's make it a little bit bolder. I really like this this particular size for line work, because you can go real light with the touch and get real fine line work and kind of help. Like, it's good for like good line work and getting in like little details and stuff. This is what this one's really good for. All right. Looks pretty good. Now let's do this bottom one here. Okay, good. Let's try. Okay. Again, I'm always worried, like I'm gonna stick my arm into some wet paint or something. I'm a worrywart. I'm a bit of a worrywart. But I'm not a worrywart over the stuff I should be a worrywart about. Like, I'm more worrywart about, like, oh, geez, did I get my clothes into some paint? Oh, no, my clothes. Oh. Just about. Click this right here. There we go. Yeah. Now we're sitting pretty. Yeah. Alright, cool. So now, let's see here. Yeah, the pink looks pretty dry down here. So now I can reinforce the outline of these inserts here. Let's see, where is that it? There we go. Just reinforcing some of these lines. So I noticed, specifically on the inserts, since there's light coming through them, if I don't do like a couple coats on some of these inserts, it doesn't, it's not as bold for like the words and stuff. This makes it a little more readable. And also the great thing about color LEDs nowadays, about like that advancement in pinball technology, is one insert can be used for like multiple things now. Because it used to be like, if you think about it, like pinball machines, even in like the 90s going into the 2000s, every insert, it was just like, it was one specific thing. There was like, oh, here's like the orange insert for extra ball. Here's like the green insert that says like, oh, lock is lit, or whatever, all that kind of stuff. But now it's like any insert can be any color. So it's like all of a sudden it's like all these shots that can be normal shots, all of a sudden one of the shots can turn green, and it's like, oh, now this shot is ready for a lock. Like, you can make any shot show any kind of information you want now, which is like a huge leap for showing information to the player. And like cutting down and making things a little more streamlined, you know. So I think the first pinball machine to have color LEDs was the Wizard of Oz pinball machine, appropriately enough, by Jersey Jack Pinball. I forget which year that came out, but that wasn't terribly long ago. Maybe 2010 or so. Somewhere around 2010, 2012-ish is when like the first pinball machines came out with color LEDs for the inserts instead of just like a white light with a colored piece of plastic. Alright, that is good to go. So I figure next, a very important thing to do is to start coloring in these like little kind of information blurbs. So I'm going to use comic book format and kind of color these yellow. So let's see here. So first of all, like since I have that, actually, before I color this one, I'm going to need to color in some of that purple here. Because I need to move the arrow down a little bit so that it's not overlapping that. So I need to move the arrow to like here. So the arrow would be like here. Instead. So everything outside of that, I need to color purple. Yeah, I actually had to brave the virus today to go out and get this purple pin because my dog Kuma actually bit apart my other pink pin, and like purple is kind of the most important part right now because that's like I'm going to use it to be covering up a lot of little mistakes and stuff. So I had to go to the art store. The only art store is like 20-30 minutes away over in Louisville. The only art store that has Posca pins, that is. So, but luckily it's like a little mom and pop shop. Actually, technically, it's owned by the workers' shop. So it's like one of those kinds of places where I think everyone who's a worker there gets like stocks or something like that in the store, or something like, or gets profit sharing or something. But yeah, place seems cool. Alright, so while that one's drying up there, I'm going to go ahead and start working on this one here. So let's get the yellow. So yeah, first I'm going to kind of do the outline. So I figure the easiest way to do this is to basically color around the words for now, and let this layer dry, and then once I get all of this yellow except for right around the words, or except for like right on the words essentially, once I get all this good to go, I'm going to go through and kind of like a letter or two at a time, redraw the letters. It'll make sense when I'm doing it. But basically, cover up one letter at a time, let it dry, and then redraw it, or maybe not let it dry. I don't know. Like you'll see. I'll like do a word at a time, or like a big chunk of letters. At least if it's like a huge word, like historical. I probably did a terrible job of explaining that, but you'll see. You'll see. You'll all see. Alright. Let's see here. Fill in this little arrow fella right here. Alright, let that dry. Alright, that seems pretty ready to go over here, so let's get this arrow ready. Yeah, I need to clean the tip a little bit, but I got the arrow drawn at least for now. Cause I can go over that with another coat and it'll be fine. But that is kind of a cool thing with Posca pens, is you can actually safely blend colors and stuff if you really want to. So you can kind of take colors and mix them a little bit on the tips and stuff. Almost hitting the camera. I need to set it. That means I need to move it. Yo, Sigma Hunter, what's up, man? Not much. Just doing some more art on this here pinball machine. I'm right now. I'm coloring in kind of the like the pop-up instructions that are like sort of on the playfield. They're not sort of on the playfield, they are on the playfield, but you know what I mean. We're not, you know, just kind of, just chilling. Just keeping it easy. Slow and steady, baby. No rush here. So basically, yeah, I'm coloring in like right around the words and stuff, and then to make it easy to rewrite all these words and stuff, yeah, I'm gonna do them like. So I'm gonna have it like that. Once that dries, I'm gonna, like, for example, I'll cover up spin, let that dry, and then rewrite the word spin, and then kind of keep doing that. just so I know, so I remember the spacing of each word and that kind of thing. I love the pink so much. I might get some of these pens. I love coloring wood. Oh yeah, like they're awesome. There's like a little booklet that they were giving out at the art store. Excuse me. That had like all the different uses you have of Posca pens, and yeah, you can use it on wood. You can use it on ceramic. You can use it on fabrics. So you could draw art essentially on like a jacket or something like that if you wanted to, like with these things. Like they're really versatile and like really strong. Like they cost about as much as maybe like not actually I'd say yeah they're cheaper than Copic markers, but I like them more than Copics honestly. But like those are like two different things. Like Copic's more of a watercolory, somewhere between like a watercolor and an ink pen. But yeah. But I'm always been more of a fan of just big bold solid colors. So Posca's more my speed. Alright. Let this dry. Alright, while that's drying, it looks like... Yeah. That's dry down here. So let's start redoing the letters here. Let's get our fine point. Actually, I might take a couple of layers. Well, actually, no, this is good. Because then this means I can just kind of trace the words since they're just kind of just barely showing through. So yeah, cool. So in that case, that changes some things. So yeah, let's do a second layer on some of this out here. Really make that yellow pop. Groban likes it when when the color on his pinball machines pop. I didn't completely butcher that reference. There we go. Looking bold and brash. More like belongs in the trash. There we go. Alright. It's looking nice. Looking nice. Alright. So let's see here. So yeah, if that doesn't completely cover up the letters, that means I can just do this and retrace it and be good to go. And then just keep my priming stick nearby to kind of clean off the tip a little bit. There we go. while that's doing that, let's color. Put one more coat on this one to kind of cover up with the color. See, I might actually have to go back to my original plan, but it's going to take like a couple of layers to completely cover up the words. So this part might be a little more intensive than I thought it was going to be. Just intensive in a matter of like waiting for things to dry, like waiting for layers to dry. There we go. Better? Yeah.
I can't pronounce Baccaruda.
Alright, let that dry a little bit.
Baruka. I can't pronounce Baccaruda.
No?
Bye-bye.
That's it, man. We'll put it all together. Alright, while those are drying, let's go down to this third one. Yeah, we only got this like squeaky as heck, old as dirt office chair out here in the garage to sit upon. But it does in a pinch. Like, I'm pretty sure this is like something that was like thrown out. My mom, she works in one of the departments at a city hall, and I'm pretty sure this is like a chair they were throwing out or something. And that place hasn't been renovated since like the 70s. So this is probably a really old chair. And you can tell it hasn't been renovated since the 70s, like just like wood paneling everywhere in like the best possible way. Like it's a city hall, but parts of that place looks like you're walking into like the Brady Bunch's living room or something. And hey, if I ever feel homesick for the, or if I ever feel like I want to ride the Tower of Terror again, I can just go on the elevator at City Hall. Because it legitimately feels like an elevator that's gonna fall apart while you're on it. Go. Right there. Yeah. Alright, one more coverage on spin. It should be good. So spin is covered, and now let's try current charge. Clean off the tip. Now. There we go. And also the other good thing about this paint is it's pretty self-flattening. Like, whatever chemicals are in it, because it says it's not alcohol-based, so it must be maybe it's just water-based. So whenever the water dissolves, usually it's pretty flat. So even though I'm kind of like dabbing like that, it looks kind of hilly right now. At least from my perspective, it looks kind of hilly. It should flatten out for the most part by the time it dries. And also, luckily, it doesn't matter if this is like perfectly flat, because I'm going to be clear coating the playfield with like a couple of layers of clear coat, so it'll be flat no matter what after that. So let's go ahead and cover up spill. Go. Kind of fill in right there. There we go. Looking good. Alright, it looks like spin is just about ready for me to write up there. So this, let me think. Is it going to be easier to kind of flatten this out and write from the other side, maybe? It's definitely going to be easier to flatten it out a little bit at least. Let's see. Let's move the mic a little bit. See, I might actually stand up and do this part, because that might make it a little easier. So let's see here. Yeah. see here. Yeah, that's gonna be easier to stand up and do this one. So let's see. That's spin. There we go. And then there we go. Let's get it like kind of a bit more like that, so it's got all of them in the frame pretty much. Angle that one up a little. There we go. So let's see here. Charge. So let's see what that was about. There. Oop, this one isn't completely dry yet, so I gotta give it a second. Move some of these cables out of the way. Ooh. Oi. There we go. Alright, so yeah, I gotta let those dry for a sec. While those are drying, let's let's go ahead and start coloring in some of these. I can actually sit back down and do this part. Just standing up that gives me the leverage I need for writing the letters. Alright. Oh, the brush. Tip. There we go. Alright. Go. Alright, so while those are drying, let's do the big deal right here. So for all of the ramp shots, there's going to be like this kind of Kirby crackle power surge effect I'm going to be doing. So let's see, I believe I settled on green, I think I settled on. I think I settled on, yeah, that's right. I settled on these two colors, and then it would go into the lilac. Okay, that's right. So the very core of this Kirby crackle is going to go from, about here. Let's see here. It's going to follow about that roughly. So next step is going to be fill in a big ass chunk with this color. I'll go back in and fill in a little closer to those edges in a sec. Like I said before though, it doesn't matter too much if I accidentally overlap something I don't want to. I can just go back with that color I overlapped and draw it back. So It's not the death knell it feels like it is when you're like working with like ink. Like I feel like when I mess up something with ink, I feel like almost defeated. Like I don't, like it's just so like working with ink is so stressful. It feels like sometimes. Big. And I don't have to worry about being too close to the stuff that's on the top of the time machine here, because I'm going to be adding another effect that it's going to cover all that up, like at the very end. Alright, yeah, I'm probably going to need to do 2 coats of this to really brighten it up. Yeah, like working with ink, sometimes it feels like diffusing a bomb or something. Like it's just very delicate work. And one little false move, and it feels like the whole piece is just going to blow up. Give that a second to dry. And while that's drying, I believe the yellow up here is ready for Dolitos. I still need to clean this tip off a little. A little more. Excuse me. There we go. Right as rain. Pa-pow. Pa-pow ma-ma-mow. So anyways, let's get back to this. That's done. I'm going to put that kind of seafoamy color. Where did it go? There it went. Looks pretty dry now. On this part, it doesn't matter too much if it's like a perfect, perfectly straight kind of beam or whatever, because of the effect I'm going to do is going to cover up a lot of what I'm drawing right now, but I need to put it down because it's going to go show through some parts of it. Like a lot of this stuff, it'll make more sense probably when I actually start drawing it. So give that a second to dry. Alright, yeah, and like I said before, the cool thing about this stuff is that it dries really fast. Like, this is almost dry already, this layer I just put down. So let's see here. While that's drying, there we go. One man show, y'all. Gonna be weird sound effects sometimes. So let's see here. I think it's in frame. Yeah. Okay. So I need to work back on this a little bit while I'm waiting for that to dry. So I think, yeah, and you let that dry, but the next part of this is going to be orange. So bring it a little closer. Alright, so yeah, just this kind of part here where it seems like a little more explodey is where it's going to be this orange. And then it's going to fade into yellow for a lot of this, like half of almost the rest of this, what's left of this tail. And then fade into white. Alright, kind of like this. Maybe a little bit of kind of this probably isn't really showing up on the cameras too well, but trust me, it's cool looking. Let's see if I can zoom in a little bit. Yeah, you can sort of see it, like, yeah, like the kind of like stippling I did to kind of fade the orange into the white, into the red. And I do the same thing with yellow down right there. So I'll go from the orange to the yellow, and then the yellow to the white, and then yeah, ba-ba-boo, ba-ba-booey. Alright. So this layer is ready to go. So I actually need to recolor. It looks like this top layer. Yeah, I need to do one more coat, it looks like. Just to make sure it's as like purely this color as possible. I'm going to see as few strokes as possible because I want this to look like just like a solid, just like beam of energy. So the fewer the strokes I see in the paint, the better. And so by the time I'm done with this part, it should have like an otherworldly kind of pulsing glow to it. If I pull off the Kirby crackle effect properly. Yeah, this whole thing definitely needed one more layer to be just right. Cool. Alright, cool. And now we just let that last layer dry. You can just see it looks super good. Oh, well, thank you, thank you. Oh, thank you. Alright, cool. So now, while we're waiting for that last layer of that kind of seafoam green to dry, put in the next chunk. Of the yellow. Of the yellow. Alright, so now get a little closer. There we go. There we go. Now, let's continue the yellow. And, 'cause, 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 ' camera roll. There we go. So right about here is where the yellow's going to stop. I'm going to have to do another coat of the yellow because it looks like some of it's kind of getting muddied up by something under there. So yeah, I'll come back to that in a moment. Alright, clean off the yellow tip. There we go. Alright, so now for the Kirby Crackle. This is like one of my favorite kind of old school comic book art effects. Is the Kirby Crackle. Named after Mr. Kirby, the classic comic artist, who I believe Jack Kirby. Who I believe drew Spider-Man, Incredible Hulk, just a bunch of those old school dudes. But yeah, so he like kind of developed this technique, and that's why it's called the Kirby Crackle. So we're gonna start off with just like just some kind of little dots. Yeah. I need to change the angle a little bit. There we go. This is how I do Kirby Crackle. It's just a slight tweak. Not too much of a tweak though. But. Alright. So, camera, please focus. Camera focus. Thank you. Camera focus. There we go. Okay. Put my hand in front of me. I'll make it focus. Focus, camera, please. Thank you. Thank you for focusing. These automatic cameras. I wish I had a nice manual camera. Oh well. So now we start kind of getting like some bigger ones, some bigger dots here. Getting a little crazier now. It's like, what the heck? All these freaking dots. Dots. And still put in like a couple little small ones here and there. See, it's starting to look kind of like more like a pulsing power kind of thing now. Angle this one down. And then kind of keep that, bring it down here. Bigger dots. And don't forget some smaller dots still. Big onion ride. Onion ride. Tonight you will scream and cry and then you'll die. Those. Yeah, the trick is to make sure you cover up the border of the color under the circles. So that kind of helps complete the look. A few little smaller specks on the outside. Just feel like the power is kind of like flicking off of it. There. And go back up here. And a little more on this one down here. Balance out. There. Oh. Alright, now to continue that coy-be crackle. This little nook and cranny right here. And also the other cool thing about the Kirby Crackle is it's okay if it's not like a perfectly straight line. And as a matter of fact, I feel like that actually kind of enhances the effect if it kind of waves and warbles a little bit. Just it feels like just like this power, just like it's so much power, it's just kind of like flaking and snaking off into the universe. So that's the other reason I like Kirby Crackle. It's like it's kind of hard to mess up because mistakes, you know, it's like happy accidents or whatever. There we go. All right, I think we got the first Kirby Crackle beam in place. So now, while that's drying, let's go back here and do our white stippling to fade this white into the yellow. And this kind of rocketing insert will be done, except for the inserts. They're like outlining everything again on it. Outlining like the insert and the art itself. I'm gonna angle this a little more. Okay, I want it to be faded in by about here. So just a few dots right here, like that. There we go. Alright, cool. So while we wait for that white to dry, I can redo the outline on this insert. So I had to find my fine point. Move the microphone a little bit. There we go. I'm going to do the cell shading. Yeah. Move the mic a little more. There we go. Alright, so I'm going to use this fine point to kind of leave the trail I want to follow. And then I'm going to go back over it with the big, thicker pen because it'll be easier to have a nice, thick, consistent line with that over the fine tip. Alright. Dang, microphone, get out of the way. Hi, Mr. Burns, get out of the way. What the heck? That. I can actually add a little more to that one. Make that one a little more. There we go. Looking nice. Maybe just a little bit more right here. Yeah. There we go. Beautiful. Alright, now let's continue this line work down just a little bit more. Alright, that's enough on that for now. Let's see here. Actually, no, we do need to finish this for the next part. So yeah, let's go ahead. Let's get back to work. Again, I think this one it's going to be a little easier for me to make these big lines standing up. So let's do this. There we go. There we go. Alright. Now I can go in here and clean up, I believe... Actually, no. I think that's okay. Because I actually need to wait before I clean that up. Because I might need to... Because, yeah, these are going to go... These laser kind of thingies are going to go above this thing, which is why this needed to be drawn first. But yeah, cool. Let's see here. Leave hands off the wheel. Let's go ahead and let's see. Here's this. Yeah, violet. I saw a couple little spots here. I need it touched up. There we go. That's what I was thinking of. Alright, so once those spots dry, then I will be able to do those. I'll be able to fill in the little carpet texture over that purple. But in the meantime, excuse me, let's do the next of these, like, actually, let me let this dry first. One thing at a time. I'm doing some like fourth dimensional chess. I'm thinking like 5 steps too far ahead though. Okay, take it easy. Just let this dry. Take it easy. Chill out. You know what I mean? Take a drink. Alright, so yeah, that's pretty good. Let's go ahead and do this beam right here next. So this is going to be the super jackpot shot into the basement. So since in my CMYK based color coordinated thing, this is yellow, I'm going to kind of color this beam with a yellow kind of thing. So there you go. Kind of like that. Oop. There we go. Yeah. Alright. So now I let that dry. And while that's drying, kind of take this tip and kind of clean that off a little bit. And I wouldn't have as much trouble with having to clean the tip if I wouldn't have had the pencil layer under it, because I think the graphite is kind of mixing with the paint sometimes and kind of mucking it up a bit. But it's worth having to do the multiple layers for having a guide. Yeah. Oh, missed a spout. Oh. Drink. Did it. Alright. So if I start coloring from up here, that down there should be dry enough to color by the time I get down there. So let's move the camera up. And do this. So I mean, most of this, like a lot of this right here is going to be covered up by something else down the road, so I'm not too worried about right down here. But once it starts to get about here, I kind of care. So in my head, I have to almost like, I have to keep track of what pieces of art are on top of what other pieces of art. So like in my head, I have to almost like keep a mental image of like what like Photoshop layers each of these things need to be on. So like this, so like all the inserts take highest priority and go above all the art, and then it kind of goes down from there. Alright, yeah, I'm going to have to go do a third layer because some of this layer's getting a little corrupted by the previous layer. Clean off the tip. Like I said, luckily the tip's pretty easy enough to clean off. You just gotta draw with it a little bit until the color goes back to normal. And then you're good. And then you're good. Go. Now let that layer dry. Oh. All right, just about dry already. Let's see here. Yeah. Yeah, just to be safe, I should let that dry a little bit. Let's see here. Yeah, we playing Cyberpunk because if you keep the stream on, Frank can raid you. You know what? I don't know if I'd be able to. I'm trying to think if I'd be able to like keep the stream going and do Cyberpunk from out here, because the second monitor helps a lot with the showing the. Oh no, I think I could still do it. I think I could still do it. It takes some tweaking, but I don't know if I could do it on the fly. So either way, I think I have to shut the stream down between doing this and doing Cyberpunk. Unfortunately. Oh, okay. Then yeah. Yeah, I was probably gonna. Yeah. I was probably gonna finish up a little bit here and a little bit here, and then start getting ready for anyone who's watching. We play tabletop games on this stream occasionally, and we're gonna be doing a big part of our campaign tonight. So, even though I'm probably gonna be done drawing a little bit here, if you stick around, we should be playing some Cyberpunk tabletop. So, move this up a little bit. Clean off. off this tip a little more. It keeps getting muddled up. But he'll probably be done himself in like 20. Okay, yeah. Like I'm gonna finish up this last little beam here probably, and that'll be the end of this stream. But I mean, I didn't plan on starting the Cyberpunk stream for another little bit either way. So yeah. So if we do it in time, before Frank's stream ends, that'd be cool. But I'm not gonna push myself, I guess. But actually, I probably could turn the stream into the Cyberpunk one pretty quickly if I needed to. I love this part of this song because it just straight up, it sounds like it's part of like a Dragon Ball Z recap or something. All right. Alright, I think this yellow is going to need one more layer to really be yellow, because it's still like kind of orangish because it's been mixing with the others. But I might have to let it dry for a little while before I do that. So I might go ahead and call the art stream for now, but for anyone watching, feel free to tune back in like probably less than an hour for our tabletop streaming. Let me go ahead and get a good shot so everyone can see what the playfield looks like currently. So let me loosen this up. Let me flatten it out first. The big reveal of what it looks like so far, but it's not quite complete, but it's really getting there. Ignore the mess. Pardon our dust. This is the garage. So yeah, here's what it looks like so far. There we go. Yeah. So yeah, here's what we got so far. And yeah, thanks for get the mic around here. So there we go. So yeah, thank you for tuning in to another episode of Build a Ball Workshop. Made a lot of progress. I got some nice little Kirby crackles and beams and lasers and rockets and zippy doos. It's starting to look like a playfield. It's starting to look like a real, like, old school pinball playfield, and I'm kind of stoked about that. But yeah, thanks for tuning in. If you're watching the archive on YouTube or something, thank you for watching the archive. Tune in live sometime. Have a hoot and a half. But yeah, thank you, and good night. Good night. Well, good night for a few minutes, and I'll be back with another stream very shortly. Good night.